Hey, what's up, guys? This is Jen, and today we're going to talk about 5 beginner 16th note strumming examples. So this is going to be, if you don't have a lot of experience with 16 notes, or you want to make your strumming a little more interesting, maybe tired of the 8th note feel, then this video is for you. It's going to be basic. We're going to go really slow. So let's start with the first one. Got my favorite thing in the world, my whiteboard, and we've got the 16th notes like so, and it's going to be 1 E and That's how I want you to count it. So that's our first one, just 1 E and a, and what I want you to do, maybe hold an E minor chord and just do 1 E and or down, up, down, up. So 1 maybe A minor, 2 E, and You don't have to change if you're not ready, but get used to the counting. This is going to be really important. 1 E, and 2 E, and 3 E, and 4 So get comfortable with that first, and definitely use a metronome and slowly move your speed up. Because we know that sounds more like 8th notes at this tempo. We're looking for like 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and there. It starts sounding more like 16th notes. But if you have to start as slow as we just did, totally fine. But use a metronome and then move it up. So the second one we can do is we're going to take out this Now I like this one because, I'm just having fun erasing. I like this one because it's going to give you a little bit of an extra moment. Where's my pen? So the is still there, but we're not going to play it. It's going to give you a little extra moment to change chords. So here's how it's going to sound. Back to that E minor, we just have 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and So you don't do anything on that but you want to bring your hand up. So you want to keep doing the down, up, but without striking the when you come up with your hand. So watch again. We have 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and So what's nice about that one, like I just said, is it's going to give you just that little teeny tiny bit of a second to change chords, where when we were doing the you have just a sliver of amount of time to get to the next chord. But this, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E, and now change 4. Take it nice and slow. Remember, all of them are going to have the same format where you attach a metronome to it, build up the speed, and it's going to sound more groovy and funky as you go along. So now the third one here, I'm just going to get rid of this. Bye-bye. Should have prepared with an eraser, not with just my fingers. We're just living on the edge today. Living on the edge with 16 notes. Now, we've got 1, here's the E, but we're not going to play that E. And this is very, very popular. You're going to hear it all over the place. Really important for you to know this one. So let's go to a G chord. Now we've got 1 E, come up but don't play anything, and 2 E, and 3 E, and 4 E, and Now, if you want to switch chords, but again, if you're just learning this, I know that it may be too much to switch chords, but you want like 1, E, and E minor, 2, E, and back to G, 3, E, and 4, E, and Now, it's important when you do start switching chords or when you're looping the measures that you don't put spaces in between the beats, right? Because we have the grouping of 1 E and the grouping of 2. A lot of the times, what will happen is we'll do like 1 E and space, 2 E and space, 3 E and And we don't want to practice that way because that's not actually practicing the 16ths. We have to acknowledge that this right here goes right into that next beat, that next 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever it is. So you've got to go slow enough when you're ready for transitions. 1 E and 2 E and Think of it like a heartbeat, or you got to keep that beat consistent and not just change when you feel like changing, which means you're probably going to have to go a lot slower than you originally anticipate, and that's totally cool. There is nothing wrong with that at all. So now, let's move to the fourth one. I'm going to erase it again. I like the way, just like erasing. I don't know, it feels good. Now, this is going to be like so. And we have 1 E, so we need this. Nothing on and here's our Okay? So what's that gonna sound like? Let's do a C chord for this one. And again, if you don't know some of these chords or it's feeling a little too challenging, just stick with an easy chord for you, because really we need to focus on the strumming hand more than anything. I'm trying to give you a variation for the video, but pause it, do your own thing. Okay, so we've got 1 E, now down but don't strike anything, and 2 E, and 3 How about A minor? 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and So nothing crazy now that you've got the basic idea of it. This last one that we're gonna do, we are going to just do 2 strikes on the 1 and the This can feel a little tricky because it's going to want to go to an 8th note, and we don't want to do that. So let's talk about it. Let's go to an E major. Oh, I do like that chord quite a bit. So E major, we have 1 E and now on the upstroke, but right back down on 2 E and down 3 E and up 4 E and Let's move to an A chord. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and So there you go. You've got 5 ideas for 16th notes. And remember, it's really, 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 really important that you count. You don't necessarily have to put those, the rhythmic notation out, but 1, E, and You've got to keep that count going instead of just relying on what you think you're supposed to feel. Count that out and count it out with a metronome. And if you need to, make sure the metronome is every click. So you have like 1, E, and set it up for every click. Then as you get better, set it up for every 2 clicks. So you've got 1, E, and 1, E, and Then when you're really killing it, 1 click. So you've got 1 E and 1 E and 1 E and so on and so forth. So that's the basic idea. Try to mess with those, metronome, and then write your own pieces using the 16th notes so that they start to feel like your own instead of these. I know these examples aren't like fun, like, oh, I just can't wait to do these 16th note examples. Most people don't feel that way. It's kind of boring. I know that. But if you make it your own, it can absorb better in your body and in your brain, and it can be a lot more fun for you to play. So do the example for a couple minutes, then play your own thing around that example. I knew that camera was going to cut me off. I could feel it in the camera. I think many of you know that in a lot of my videos, towards the end, the camera just stops, and we get this like weird cut where I'm like in mid-thought. And I think it just gets tired of me. And I think that's kind of what happens with my friends and family, too. I just had a long conversation with somebody about, hey, Jen, maybe you could talk a little bit less. And I didn't really listen because I was too busy talking about why I couldn't talk less. Or maybe why I could talk less. I was like, that's a great idea. I should talk less. I should da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. The point is, I talk a lot. I don't have anything else to say now. I'm very hurt by the camera. I am going to go cry a little bit and maybe eat some ice cream. And that's going to be my day. 16 notes, crying, and ice cream. Oh my God, what's wrong with me? It's been a long week. Okay, I'm done with this video. This is a Patreon supported video. So I have fantastic patrons, and I just got a bunch of new ones. You're gonna see the new ones at the end of the little scrolling that just joined, which is awesome. And I have people that are at the very top of the scrolling names that have been with me from the very beginning, the very, very beginning of me doing this. So thank you to my patrons. You guys are amazing. You keep me motivated to do this. I swear I wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't for you. So thank you so much. And if you want to know how to become a patron, please go to, what do you have to go to? Patreon.com/JenTrani. I've had a bit of a hard week, guys. I'm going to be honest. I know people think that I'm sometimes silly about like the amount of crying that I do and ice cream eating. This is not one of those times where I'm exaggerating. So I'm really glad to be doing these videos right now. It takes my mind off it. It takes my mind off the pain of my stomach from too much ice cream. Just go to patreon.com/JenTrani and you can figure out how you can donate. I can't come back. Can't come back from that. Please work on your 16th notes. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you soon.